Of all the topics we're covering in our Agile PM plugin series, probably the most controversial and to me the most frustrating element of modern project management is the way that benefits and benefit management and realization is treated. For decades, benefits and considering benefits as being a plugin, something that you think about beyond and additional to your core project management skills. Even the PMI, which has had its core body of knowledge in place for nearly 20 years, has only just last year released a standard, not a body of knowledge, but a standard around benefits management. So in this series, in this tutorial series around benefits, what we're going to do is look at a very simple extension to our O3 model. As I mentioned in the previous set of tutorials around O3, it's great for actually getting scope right. It's actually great for identifying the key drivers of why a project is happening. But it has this additional benefit of being able to create a framework for you on doing a good, solid, and effective benefit management process. But before we get into the detail of how we use the O3 as the basis for our benefits management process, I want to go over some basic principles. These are principles that every person thinking about benefits needs to actually understand. And there's 4 of them. The first principle is this: if you can't measure it, you can't claim it. If, for example, you're saying we're going to improve customer satisfaction and you're not going to be able to measure that, then you can't claim it. This is just an example of creating a benefit that abstractly looks good, but when you drill into it, there is no formal tracking, baselining, or actually post-implementation measurement of it. So if you can't measure something, you cannot use it as a basis for justifying projects. Principle 1. Principle 2. This has driven me nuts for a really long while, and as many of you probably are realizing, there are a few things that drive me nuts. And this is this concept of soft or intangible benefits. It really amazes me that people still use these terms, right? A soft benefit, typically you'll see this associated with improved staff morale or better market image. Now, every successful company knows that your market image is not a soft thing, it is a hard thing. You lose your reputation, you lose your image, you're actually done as a company. You can't get much harder than that. More importantly, it is complex to me that in a bank, for example, if I went to a bank, just consider it, you're going to a bank for a loan, and the bank manager has every right to say, Rob, why do you want $1 million loan? And if I replied to them, oh, I don't know, it's sort of intangible, it's soft, they'd legitimately throw me out. Yet that same bank would sign off on a business case for a $10 million project justified completely on soft or intangible benefits. So, principle 2, no soft or intangible benefits. We'll cover that in later tutorials in this series. Principle 3, getting on top of benefits requires the same planning intensity as planning a project. And this sort of underlies the idea that, we plan a project, but we do with benefits on the side. No, benefits and project management are completely integrated, and the same planning discipline and the same planning focus is required for analyzing benefits, tracking them, measuring them, realizing them. So, benefit management is a planning process, and we'll come back to that again in the next tutorial and the subsequent one. Finally, because benefits are treated so poorly in most organizations, you get this blame game happening where a project manager says, well, I delivered the project, but it's up to the client to realize the benefits. That's one example of shifting the blame. But the more disturbing one is the perception, and it's still very common from sponsors, that PMs are responsible for benefit realization. And again, this is completely false. What benefit management is all about is a partnership between the sponsor and the PM, between the sponsor and the benefit owners, the PM and the team. Everyone has to partner together to effectively implement a proper, effective benefit management regime.